So it's an extremely low tide today. All these puddles and pools are exposed, so I had to bust out this old poke pole, old rusty coat hanger on the end, cut off my old rig right here to tie a new 50-pound leader on here. So I'm going to tie on a size 2 bait holder hook with a canoe man loop. So the cool thing about a canoe man loop like this is it allows your hook to swing freely on the end. There's a loop like there, so nothing is just straight attached to the hook like a snell knot or a clinch knot would. So the first thing you do, put your hook or your lure or your whatever you want to attach to your line on the end here, and just like you're tying a perfection loop, you do one loop like that and do another one right behind it, and with the loop from the right hand you put it through the main loop, pinch it all together with one finger, and you put that tag end through that original right loop, pull it back down towards the hook, cinch it tight, pull on that thing, and there you go. You got a hook that'll swing freely, just like that. Great for live bait, good for flies, good for a lot of fishing applications. Just tighten that down, cut off the tag end, and that's about all that I want on my poke pole. Just about 2 inches right there. So I'm going to tie from about right here onto the end of my coat hanger. So this is the finished product right here. Got a clinch knot right on the end of my coat hanger, and about a 3-inch leader tied to that canoe man loop, and the hook can swing freely using a size 2 Gamakatsu bait holder hook. Alright, before we start fishing in these little puddles and pools, I got to give myself a little plug, shameless plug. So I've restocked on the hoodies. They were all sold out for a couple months. Restocked on these, and I've also got these new designs here. These long sleeve Fisherman's Life trout shirts. Trout on the fly, Fisherman's Life, a little splash in the background, custom designed by Chester. Link is in the description if you're in need of a graphic designer. But these are selling fast, and there's even more designs on my website, fishermanslife.net. Check it out. Get them for Christmas, get them for a present for someone if you want, before they sell out. I don't know when I'll be restocking again. But yeah, it's a little cold out here just for this short sleeve thing. I mean, it's thin, but it's long sleeve, protects you from getting sunburned out here. But it's a little too cold for that, so I've got the hoodie. And you can check out my Instagram too, official Fisherman's Life. And if there's any updates, sometimes I won't post a video, I'll go out filming and I just don't catch any fish or something, but there'll be an update on there. So if you want to follow me there, check it out, official Fisherman's Life on Instagram, or my website, fishermanslife.net. Get this merch while it's available. Now let's go get some eels and some cabezon. So look at these little puddles that have formed. So there's little holes in between these rocks, and there's eels in between these rocks and fish in between these rocks. See how low the tide is right now? The waves are crashing way out there, and you can tell where the water line normally is, where the seaweed and these mussels are. Usually the water is right there level, but look how low it is, a negative 1.6 today. It rarely gets this low, but when it happens, there'll be a 1.6 on Monday, a 1.5 on Tuesday, a 1.3 on Wednesday. So you got a good chance in the 3-day period if you see a big low tide. So I've got a little piece of squid tied to my 50-pound leader, and what I'm looking for is these stagnant pools almost. See this big rock right here is blocking any water from the outside, so any fish or eels that are in here are trapped in here. But what I'm really looking for is where a big boulder comes down and it's not the bedrock, where it actually can be moved around like a big boulder, because if there's space underneath, then that's probably where there's a fish. You use a coat hanger because the end is so thin. If there's any little holes or crevices, it'll poke right through. But what you really want to look for is the smooth boulders. If there's 5 or 6 of those big ones about a foot in diameter across, I can almost guarantee there's going to be at least an eel in there, and probably some fish too. Now let's keep walking. So these guys are everywhere. These little sea urchins, you can find these all over the place at low tide. Now, usually I've eaten them when they were bigger, but you can cut out the tongue right here. You can cut out the teeth, I mean. You cut them in half like that, and you can see this is where its teeth was. So there's no size limit to these guys, but you can catch 35 of them. So that yellow orange stuff inside, that's the uni. So you can take that out and just eat it like that. So if you're ever curious about how sea urchin tastes, you can come out here and try it yourself on these little guys. And if you're brave enough, you can get yourself a wetsuit, go out, venture off, and dive for them. It's kind of an acquired taste, but once you get that taste, man, it's really good. But almost not worth it to get these little ones because, I mean, there's not very much. But you can tell how bright and vibrant that roe, or those gonads, I'm not even sure if they're gonads or eggs, but whatever they are, they're good. Really creamy, really sweet flavor. But all right, that's not what we're out here looking for. We're looking for eels. Let's find those boulders. I know they're under there. Quick tip if you're out tide pooling like this. If you see wet rocks like that with seaweed on top, you want to avoid that because that is super slippery. Even if it's a flat surface, it makes it even more slick. So what you want to look for are jagged things like this. Sometimes there'll be barnacles like that. You can get a good footing, or like this right there. Or if it's dry like that. If it's dry, then it's probably safe to walk on. But when it's wet and dark like that, that's algae growing, and it is so slick you're gonna fall on your butt. I bet you you will if you walk on that, and especially walk on that fast. So the thing to look for when you're walking out on the rocks like this, places to stay safe, first off, you want to look for something jagged like this. You put your foot down, you got a little more traction there. Another thing that's good to look for are these barnacles. These barnacles, they really provide good traction too. So you can almost safely step on a lot of places with barnacles like that, even if the rock is slanted and it's not flat. Otherwise, you want to look for flat rocks and seaweed like this. This is the good stuff to walk on. Kind of looks like hair. It's almost dry right now, but this provides a lot more traction. If you see rocks with only this kind of seaweed, you're gonna slip. That stuff is really, really slippery. So those are a few little tips. And also, of course, as you're walking along, try to step on the most level surfaces possible, because there's so much area to slip in. And if you're not wearing waders or anything, you can fall right in that water here. Look how nice and calm it is out here. No waves are crashing at all. And you can, oh man, it's slippery. But you can tell, and you know that people fish out here. Look, someone got snagged. Someone's fishing rig got snagged right here. Here's their torpedo weight that they were using, 6 ounce weight. It's pretty heavy. I wouldn't use something this heavy. And a steel leader attached to some really light line, probably 20-pound mono with size 2 hooks. Not what I would be using, but they lost their rig. Anyway, it's funny, when I was a kid, I used to think that these negative 1.0 tides, and when they go up to 6.0 tides, I didn't really understand what that means. But it literally means when the tide is a 6 foot, it's going to be 6 feet tall. So if it were a 6 foot right now, it would be over my head, just high tide. And low tide, look, it's complete, everything is completely exposed. But yeah, when you come out here at low tide, you can find lots of rigs, lots of weights. There'll be swim baits and all types of lead out here in between these rocks, people getting snagged and stuff. And you know people catch fish here. Perch, striped perch, cabezon, rockfish, they're all out here at high tide. So just gotta find that hole that goes deep, and those big boulders. Nothing yet, but I feel like we're getting closer. All right, well, there may not be big boulders here, but I think this holds deep. So let's poke around here and see if anything wants some squid. You just poke around until it gets deeper and deeper. Sometimes they go a lot deeper than you'd think. Man, it's going even deeper, wow. Trying to be light with the touch too. You just want that scent of that bait just to stay there and linger there a little bit. So if there's anything near, it'll pick up on that scent, come and eat it. Sometimes I like to use live bait hooks too, because they're smaller and they're thick. Sometimes when you're fishing in between these rocks, these thin bait holder hooks, especially a size 2, it'll get stuck on the hook, you have to pull it out and it'll bend. But if you're using a live bait hook with a ring on it, it'll have the same function as this Canoe Man loop knot and it won't bend. There he is, he's on here. Oh my God, do you see that? That was the smallest fish I think I've ever seen in one of these holes here. That was like a 2-inch fish. There's a fish. Oh. Oh, there's a big eel on here. Oh, that's an eel for sure. Man, I knew there was an eel. You could tell when it bites and it tries to go back in the hole. That's a big eel right there. All right, well, I'm gonna eat him, so let's put him out of his misery right now. He swallowed the hook, he's bleeding right now, so it's in his gills. Gonna hit him on the head with a rock. So he's already bleeding a lot on the side, and he's still got that hook in his throat, so I don't want to let him stay here suffering for too long. So I'm just gonna hit him on the head, on the side of the head. They're super slimy, so there's like, it's really hard just to hold them and try to stab them in the head. They'll just slither right out of your hands. So all right, guy, all right, sorry I gotta do this, but that's what it is. So I just got my rock, just gonna hit him on the side of the head, right where the brain is. Now that I'm ready to cook it, the first thing I'm going to do is light the coals. Those take about 20 minutes to get set up. Light the coals, get that ready, put my grill on top of it, and then we're going to gut and fillet this eel. Here's a new grill that I got. Really easy, nice camping, portable, packable. Folds down just like this. Fold it out like that. It's got these 2 things that you can put on the side. One in, another one in. Once those are in, it's solid. And you've got these stakes here, so you can stick them in the sand or stick them in the dirt. And once you got whatever you're going to cook with hot, just put that on top like that, and that's how you cook. A nice portable grill. Now, in my opinion, the most important thing when you're cleaning an eel like this is to not let any of the stomach contents contaminate the meat. So I don't skin it first, I don't do anything of that first. You can already see some of the poop is just running straight out of him. Man, and that stuff, if it touches the meat, it smells so bad. So I'm going to try to get it out in one piece. I was originally going to just try to do it underwater. Actually, I am going to do that. Let's try that a different way. Try to gut it underwater, clean it out first, and then fillet it. Oh man. And another thing is to get a sharp knife. I had this knife custom made for me by a guy named Shy Rose. He goes by that name. His real name is Adrian, but he goes by that name on Instagram. Check out this knife. Custom made, full tang, super sharp, sharp as a razor. It cuts the hair on my skin just like that, and it'll cut straight through the skin on this eel very easily. It came with this custom sheath too. Man, it's a friggin' sweet deal. So if you want a custom made knife, he can make these, a replica like this. I asked him to make a special jipping on top. Maybe it would help with scaling a fish in the future. But yeah, this is gonna be my knife when I go out camping and doing a lot of things with this knife. So Adrian, thank you so much. This is such an amazing knife, my nicest knife I've ever had. Gonna probably have this for a lifetime. Let's gut that underwater. I'm actually cutting just to the side of the butthole, so everything can hopefully come out in one piece. So far, looks like it's working. All right, look, man, there it is. All of its entrails, unscathed, unpunctured. Wow, it's almost like he's got a gizzard right here or something. What is inside of here? Oh, it's just seaweed. Look, see? Their diet is seaweed. And it's funny that they always go for this kelp. But see that seaweed? Doesn't smell like anything. It's like fresh. He just ate it too. Huh. Really cool. Well, unpunctured, the meat should taste great. Now, since I don't have a fillet knife, I'm just going to use my very sharp knife, thanks to Adrian. I'm going to cut along the spine on the back on both sides. Now, I've done a video like this in the past, so it's almost like I'm remaking it. But just look how sharp that knife is. Just look how it just slides right along here. All right, same thing on the bottom, all the way to the back. Now that you have that ready, now you can just get it started here on the front. Just get that skin off a little bit. And you can poke a hole in the skin, use that with your finger and just grip it. Or if you have pliers and you're at home and you're doing this, you can do it like that. But you just grip where that hole is and you just pull, and the skin should just come right off. All right, you should be able to pull all that skin right off. There you go. All right. There we go, there's one side. Same thing on the other. God, if you can't get a good grip, maybe just use your teeth. All right, there we go. Look at all of that meat. Not contaminated at all. And now you just gotta fillet it. Just gonna run the blade along the spine there on both sides. Cut all that meat out. A little bit hard to do this on a non-flat surface, especially not wood. But it's not too bad, huh? That's one fillet right there. Let's get the other one off. My coals should just be about heated now. 2 fat fillets, nice clean bones there. Let's give it to the birds, the crabs, and whatever else wants to eat it. There's this little thin layer of membrane where the skin used to be. I'm just gonna score it a few times so it doesn't curl up on me when I put it on the grill. Gotta thank my subscribers for telling me that trick. Man, this knife is so sharp. I probably shouldn't be cutting down towards my hand like that. All right, before we throw this on the grill, man, look at that. 2 fat pieces of meat right there, ready to be eaten, fresh from the ocean, freshly caught. Nice meat. Anyway, I brought this little container. I've got avocado oil in here. No butter today. Sorry. I'm sorry. But I do have a little bit of butter t-shirts and these hoodies. All right, sorry, no more advertising in this video. Anyway, I got this oil. I got salt, pepper, smoked paprika, and garlic powder in here. So I'm just gonna put it in here and let these guys soak just for a little bit, not even that long. So I'm just gonna let them soak in here. Let's get marinated for 5 minutes before I throw that onto the grill. The coals are just about heated too. I just checked them. Wow. That smells really good. I just want to eat it like this, but I probably should try to resist. I probably shouldn't do that. Man, it smells good. It's gonna be so good. I already know it. Ooh, yeah. All right, these coals are nice and hot, nice and got some good color to them. Gonna drop this grill just a little bit, even lower. Let's get these coals leveled out though. All right, there we go. Yes. There, I'm just gonna put it right over the top of it, just like that. Get it heated up nicely. This is like my favorite combination too. Salt, pepper, smoked paprika, and a little bit of garlic. Put that with my scrambled eggs too. It's just like a perfect combo. One piece like that. Let's cut it in half first. Oh, that smells so good. Cool thing about this grill is if it's a little bit too hot, you can just raise it up a little bit. All right, I'll say another 6 minutes or so and it should be done. All right, let's see. Is this done? What do you think? I think so. It's not clear. It's not translucent at all. How about this one? Yep. Oh, that's done. You can tell how cold it is in here because I'm touching this hot food with just my bare hands. All right, here we go. This is one of the pieces here. That's part of that eel. Nice. Very nice. Don't taste any of that poop. I didn't get on any of the meat. Oh, that's perfect. Oh man. Oh hell yeah. Look at that eel. Let's break it apart. Man, that's good with that marinade on the outside. I got a ton of seagulls around me waiting to clean up my scraps when I'm done. So I know in my last video I mentioned that I was going to go fishing with Dan Hernandez and I was going to go lobster diving. Well, I did go down to San Diego and I did do both of those things, but they didn't turn out to be successful at all, so I had to scrap the footage. But if you follow me on my Instagram, you can keep up with me. If I don't post anything on YouTube, I'll at least post the updates on Instagram. So it's Official Fisherman's Life at Instagram. And yeah, just follow me if you want. Otherwise, just wait for the next video. Man, this eel is good. So normally there's a couple of these king low tides during the winter months, especially December. They go down to negative like 1.6. Tomorrow is a 1.6. The day after is a 1.7. So it's just lingering around these very, very low tides. And oftentimes that means the counter side will be a very, very high tide, like over 6.5. So can you imagine that? Going from a negative 1 foot, very, very low, to literally, I mean, I can't even reach that high. 6.5 feet difference, which means a 7 foot difference, just in the span of 6 hours too. That's how fast this water moves, and the sun and whatever, the moon pulls all the tides away from the shore, and then it finally relaxes and releases it all back out very, very high. But you know, winter months, and I think in the fall too. All right guys, I gotta thank you again. Thanks for joining me on another video. Winter's here, so the water conditions aren't as good as I would like, but I'll still try to get out as much as I can and make some kind of video. All right guys, see you next time.